get started. Welcome to the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast. We are here to podcast about anything and everything Star Wars with you. Please visit our website where you can play current and past episodes. That's https://RABR KyleJohansson.us. That's RABR.KyleJohansson.us. On the left-hand side is a navigation menu. You can use this to learn how to load the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast on your Android or Apple phone and tablet. And we have direct links to our podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts. Please participate by connecting to our social media, answering questions of the week, or submitting feedback directly from the site. Again, all of these are available at the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room website at RABR.KyleJohansson.us. And now, it's time to talk Star Wars. I am Kyle John Johansson, and this is Andrew Scott Sutton. Say hello. 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 Well, I don't want to bring it up, but, we're late in putting this out because Scott had some issues that he had to deal with first before we could do this. You can say whatever you want about it.
Just say it. I nearly died.
Whatever. Now he had to go to the hospital for some flu pneumonia and
C. diff.
crapping out the rear too much. Anyway, so that's why we're late, and we're actually gonna try to cram 2 episodes in this week. So we're gonna do this one, and then we're gonna maybe, if we have enough time, we'll do another one this weekend. We'll see. Hopefully we will. And today we're going to review Bad Batch episode 6 Decommissioned and episode 7 Battle Scars. We have 2 news items today, and we're just going to go through the episodes in pretty good detail and talk about them and discuss what we think about them and what's going to happen. Let's see. Okay, so let me click the news thing. It's time for the news. So the first article we've got is an announcement, someone was looking at casting calls or casting additions to Mandalorian season 3, and it's official that Christopher Lloyd is now part of the cast for season 3. What's it say? Details: roles are locked up in a trunk of a DeLorean, so we don't know exactly what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, whether it's a recurring role or just a one-time.
Yeah. They're talking, it's probably going to be, some older character, who knows it. They've been bringing in characters a lot from what they used to call legends, quite a bit, and maybe he's going to be one of those guys.
Obadiah.
Yeah, or something. You never know with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni what it'll be, but it basically says he's been official, and the season for season 3 is supposed to be this fall. I think last I heard it was going to be in August or September that it was going to debut, which would basically be around the time that the Andor show would end.
I gotta figure out what that is.
It's about the guy that was in Rogue One, that had the robot, that you like.
Oh, the pilot. Okay. The spy guy.
Yeah, the spy guy. It's supposed to be about him. I guess about his spy activities and stuff. And they've already renewed that for season 2, so it must be they must be doing pretty good on it or something. I don't know. And that came directly from the Hollywood Reporter. And this next one is coming directly from StarWars.com, and it's basically an article about the Pykes, and we have seen the Pykes quite often through animated. I think they were in the Rebels a little bit. They were definitely in Clone Wars, but we saw them in this time in the Book of Boba Fett. And I kind of wanted to mention what you were telling me earlier, Scott, was originally a Pike person was the design was for a person to be a Jedi that was a Pike, and they kind of scrapped that idea for something different, and they became syndicate people who run spice and a little bit of black market kind of stuff too. It says here George Lucas plucked the design out of dozens. This one in particular was a design for an alien Jedi. They changed them a little bit from the original. They made those little weird things to hang down on their chin. They made those longer and stuff when they decided to use them. What's it say? The head and costume design was honed in 2009 for a comic book. It says aspects of Kessel and the Pike Syndicate trade role were spice traders. Spice traders seen throughout the galaxy. They joined forces with Death Watch, and they joined forces with Maul, which Maul had the Shadow Collective was what his little gang was, which included the Crimson Dawn that Kira was part of. He basically killed everybody in the upper management of Crimson Dawn and took over. Bad Batch, they were in there too. The Pike Syndicate was a powerful part of the Spice Cartel. Former Chancellor Vlorim explained to Yoda in one of the Clone Wars episodes.
The Pikes are in Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Later on.
They're supposed to be later on, yeah.
After the dude takes the club from Sid.
Yeah. That's when they come in. I remember that now. Let's see. And yeah, they didn't have very many dealings with the Jedi. They had a few, but not very many. It looks like, and like we saw they played a pretty big role in what we saw in the Book of Boba Fett, taking over Mos Espa and a couple other areas around there. But yeah, that's what they are. They're just I don't know, the face kind of looks like maybe a catfish or something, almost.
Yeah.
Especially with those little things that come down off their chins and stuff. It looks like the spikes on a catfish. And they usually wear like some sort of protective mask or something to help them breathe a little bit, because they have trouble breathing.
I'm sure there's like a moisture thing.
Moisture thing, yeah. Keep them moist and stuff too. I was thinking that too. Because we know Tatooine obviously is pretty dry because it's got the two suns that are boiling it up all the time. So, they probably had humidity regulation or something in that outfit too, I guess. But yeah, when we see them in the Clone Wars, they're in different areas too, and they're still wearing those masks and stuff too. So some of it could be, for ranking and designation and stuff like that too. But it was also armor, so they could be protected a little bit in battle. Anyway, that's what the article mostly was about. I just wanted to kind of, bring it to front and talk about them for a bit. And as I've been telling you, it's Star Wars news is pretty slim nowadays because there's not much going on.
Well, and everything's top secret.
Yeah, everything's top secret, so it's hard to find some good news, and a lot of times it's someone guessing what could happen, and it may not be true or whatever. So we don't really talk about it all very much. So let's wrap that news up then. The news. All right, and let's do this.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Does your bald head take a beating from shaving, the sun, and all of the things Mother Nature throws your way? Do ladies look at your dry, sunburnt head and cringe? Well, guys, there's a new product out there in the head care market that promises to rock your head. I mean dome. Looks soft, clean, and touchable, and it's trending #1 through social media and on YouTube. Introducing Dome Armor. It conditions with moisturizers like coconut oil and shea butter, protects with sunscreen up to SPF 45, and enhances your already sexy dome into an irresistible hands-on experience. Keep your dome safe and protected. Get Dome Armor, now available in fresh bacon scent. Sure to get the ladies to come running in fine stores like Walmart and Lowe's. Oh, and for those still struggling with minor hair loss, try Grow Gain. This product will refresh, revitalize, and regrow hair on your dome.
Grow Gain. That's what I need.
You can get it at Dick's.
Sporting goods. Dick's. All right, so let's get into the episode here. I gotta play the spoiler alert so people don't freak out. Spoiler. All right, spoiler alert.
About some TV shows or movies. If you have not watched them, please fast forward to the appropriate section. You will not be warned again, because you will be spoiled.
Yay. All right. So the first episode we're doing is episode 6.
Mhm.
Spoiled. Yeah. Decommissioned.
Oh, spoiled.
All right, so we first see in this episode, they're in Sid's parlor, and Omega is practicing with that weird bow thing that shoots out the energy arrows or whatever, and she's having trouble. Arm. Yeah, she's having trouble with her flabby arms, I guess. And Echo keeps telling her she needs to practice, even though she's hit it 3 times because she got lucky. Is why she hit it.
He's so blunt.
Yeah, well, they don't know how to talk to kids, right?
Right.
Yeah. So and there's apparently 2 of the bar patrons are betting on her trying to hit
behind
it.
Her.
It's pretty funny. One of those guys with the weird neck thing, and then
with the eyes, neck, and the eyes.
Yeah.
And the lashes like yours.
What? Like these? Yeah, so they do that. Sid's the one that comes in and tells her she needs to work out more because her arms are flabby. And she announces that she and she grabs Hunter because she has an arrangement that they want to broker, I guess, and she's basically telling them that they don't have a choice. They want to take the deal, and they're going to. The deal is going to Corellia to pick up another some sort of animal or something. And when we see them arriving in Corellia, they're attached to a bottom of another ship. Do you remember seeing that?
Yeah.
That's
That's
kind
to
of what
get
we
to
saw.
the blockade or whatever.
Right, and we saw Han Solo did that with the Millennium Falcon, right? When they were trying to escape from one of the big ships or whatever, the attack fighter things.
It was Vader's ship.
Yeah, it was Vader, one of Vader's ships. So they're attached to this transport thing, and they once they get into the planet's atmosphere, they break off. And it turns out this mission is about getting a tactical droid, which they kind of explained that the tactical droids are valuable because they were the ones that were directing the droids that were on the ground or whatever, and they learned from everything that they every battle that they were in. They learned and adapted, and none of the other droids did that, and that's what makes them more valuable, and people are seeking them out, and so they're going to Corellia to a plant that is decommissioning all of droids and stuff like that. Droids in different shapes and sizes, big tall ones, the regular yellow ones we see on the ground, and of course our tactical droid. They go through and they find the plant, and they decide they're gonna sneak in through a ladder that goes to a door that's higher up, and this is where we see Wrecker doesn't like heights, right?
No.
He's like, oh man, and he gets up there, finally gets up the nerve to go up, and gets up there and looks down, and is in a hurry to get away from the edge of that stairway and everything. Yeah, so they do that. Heights, okay, and then they go into the plant, and they're up in the catwalks up there in the plant because that's kind of where they got in, and they're using their fancy binoculars to figure out where
how guards are wandering. He did that from outside too. What's his name?
Tech did. Some of them go down to a like a console station to look through the inventory and maybe keep the guards from coming in, kind of thing, and stuff like that. And it looks like they locate a droid, and also Omega sees it through the binoculars too.
Mm-hmm.
So they find out that that's the only tactical droid in the plant. And
his head,
yeah, it's where all the information is stored in the head, I guess. They don't really care about the body. They see that it's disconnected from the body, so they said, oh, it's still usable without the body. Let's see, and Wreckers goes up above to cover, and he complains because Crosshair should be doing that. And let's see, they move into position, walk where, climb, and Omega is still looking through the binoculars at it, and she sees someone else grab the the droid head while she's looking.
And like scampers off with it.
Scampers off with it. They're so quick you can barely tell who it is. And yeah, she spots it. She steals it, and Omega tries to go down and help find it when she was told not to. She uses her bow and tries to shoot at the person who is running, and she finds out it's Raffe Martinez, which she wouldn't know who that is, but we know who it is because they were in Clone Wars quite a bit, and that was the last season of Clone Wars. There was a big 2 or 3 story arc with them too, at least maybe 4 or 5 episodes. Where Ahsoka was
she was building that ship, and she didn't know her sister how her sister was getting the money
exactly
to be able to build that big starship.
Exactly. Yeah. So and this is we have to remember this is around about the same time. So they're doing these odd jobs that we just happen to see them do that could be going on at the same time that Ahsoka and them are.
That's true. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, she doesn't want to. Raffe says she doesn't want to hurt her, and she's kind of afraid of Omega because Omega's shaking a little bit with her bow. And then we hear Trace over the comm, Rafa's comm, asking her about the target and where Raffe is, and that's when Omega tells her not to answer, and that's when we see Raffe try to sweet talk her to put the bow down, and she accidentally fires a bolt that hits one of the walls, and it starts to release gas and kind of sets off a security breach. Yeah, it's some sort of tank and a security breach, and then guards are going around looking for what happened and see our crew, and they set off a major alarm. And during the struggle between Raffe and Omega, her bow falls down to the ground, which is 30 feet below. So she doesn't have a weapon, especially when Raffe tells her to grab one to help fight off some of the droids. Police droids, spiral staircase. Omega still chases after Raffe to grab the head, and they exchange it back and forth several times. Hunter asks the other clone to get the lockdown lifted because part of that security thing, they lock down the warehouse so they can't get out because all the doors are closed and there's too many security droids and all that stuff in the way and stuff like that. And the next scene that is called the race for the tactical droid head, and that's, like I said, when they start exchanging and getting it back and forth. And Echo is the one trying to override the lockdown. He's having troubles with it, and he finds out the only way to do that is to power down the entire building, and that means that Wrecker has to go up and hit the manual button to turn it back on. And we know
way up high on a tower.
Yeah, we know Wrecker is afraid of heights, and he's up there already. But he to get there, he has to jump over an open space onto
I guess
a crane arm or something.
We'll just call you Wrecker.
No, I don't think so. I don't like heights though, but yeah, I don't think so. He's he's got a little more brute strength than I do, that's for sure. So he eventually jumps over and almost falls, but finally gathers himself and gets over to the other tower that he needs to turn it on. And this is when he hits his head when he gets to the tower. He turns the switch on, but then falls down, kind of like, in pain or whatever. And we hear him starting to say things like "good soldier," and he keeps hearing Crosshair in his head and stuff. Easy gaze down, smelter, blah blah blah. And also during this time, we also see Omega chasing after the droid head again, and she gets it, but some droid parts fall down on top of her and pin her leg down. She can't get out of that, out from underneath that, and Raffe ends up grabbing the droid head and running off. And again, we see some scenes with Wrecker and his good soldiers follow orders stuff. And he finally kind of shakes it off a little bit later on. And again, Omega's trapped, so she hollers out for Hunter to help her. And Hunter comes up with an idea to pull the supports for the catwalk that they were on above down, and kind of cause a commotion and get some of the police droids off of them.
They were coming from everywhere.
Yeah, they were coming from all over the place, and
they started
exactly.
but helping each other to try to get out of the place.
And this also is it falls down and all that, and actually Omega falls into the pit, and she starts to climb back out and can't get all the way out because the sides are too high. And this is where we see Raffe come back, and no, it's Trace that comes back and tries to help her out. She tells her to grab some part right before everything drops down below her, and she is kind of stuck on a small ledge there. She throws the droid part towards Trace, and Trace grabs it, and right at that time is when Hunter shows up to help pull her out as well.
Yeah.
And Hunter gives her a thank you and all that, and he says that they're running off trying to get rid of all these police droids, and he says that they could join them. They don't have to. They both can reap the rewards from this droid head. Police droid. Hunter says they can debate it later. We also see Wrecker come down and help out with some of the police droids after he's kind of shook off the good soldiers stuff.
But he's bonked his head like thousands of times through this whole rigmarole.
Yeah, and we'll as you know, we'll find out a lot more why it's happening right now in the next episode too, because we wouldn't have a next episode if he wasn't having this good soldier stuff go on. Okay. Like I said, Wrecker comes down and starts knocking off a bunch of the droids. And they come up with an idea. Actually, I think Trace comes up with an idea to use the droid head to waken up all the other droids in the warehouse to help them out. and she tries to do some welding or whatever to activate something, and has trouble. And Tech comes in there and takes over, and he puts some sort of stick in there, and then he has a pad that he's using to kind of program and work on the head, and the head comes to life once, and kind of goes back off and then comes back on again, and they tell him to attack all the police droids. He tells the activate all droids and attack police droids.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. All rised up out of the.
Yeah, they rise up, and they were on the cranes and all that stuff too, and yeah, it was pretty cool. And I thought it was kind of weird though, because we saw on the belt that most of the droids were in parts,
In parts.
but there was a lot of them that weren't in parts that we couldn't see.
Yeah, all of a sudden they all rose up and they weren't in parts. It's like, hold on a second.
So they rise up and come out and help them out, and because Wrecker restarted the power and everything, the doors were opened up, and they're running down the hallway with the droid head fighting off some more droids, and the droid head gets shot and destroyed, and they're all pretty upset, especially Trace and Raffe, because they think there's nothing there we can do. The thing, we wasted all this time, and the head got destroyed anyway. And they kind of come to the realization that they're the only thing left to do is leave and just start over or whatever.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah, and as they're they're both at both of their ships, and as they're leaving and saying their goodbyes, Omega says something about them coming to visit on Ord Mantle, and that's where we hear the line about the neighborhood being kind of a rough neighborhood, and Omega responds with that she likes it that way, basically. And apparently, when Tech was using that rod or whatever, he downloaded the entire droid head to the rod. So Hunter has that rod, and he offers it to Trace, it looks like, and says that she'll use it for better purposes than they will, and gives it to him. And that's when they kind of, they realize that these clones are different than other clones. Mostly because of the way they acted, but then that they actually gave them something and didn't, basically they failed the mission. Most clones wouldn't purposely fail the mission. And this is where we also see, we see our guys leave, and they all leave and whatever, and we see Raffe talk to a hologram about getting the droid information, and they got it from some rogue squad of clones, and she thinks that the person that she's talking to would want to hear about that and know where they are, and she knows where they're going. Because Omega said that they were on Ord Mantle in Sid's bar, so they know exactly where they're at. And that's when the episode ends, is right there with a little cliffhanger of who is that person they're talking to. And that
we all know
up,
who it is. We all know who it is.
Yeah, we kind of know, and we find out in the next episode for sure. And that's my question for that episode of the question of the week for that episode is: was Raffe talking to Captain Rex, or was it someone else in the Resistance that knows Captain Rex? Do you think that's who that was? I couldn't tell for sure because whoever it was didn't have, the uniform looking outfit on that we usually see Rex in. It was a robe type of outfit. So I don't know who it was, but
Oh, it wasn't. So you don't think it was the bounty hunter?
no, I don't. I don't think it was
Dan?
Finnick
Finnick.
or Cad Bane. I think it was someone else. Because why would the bounty hunter contact Rex? Because how would Rex know then later? Because like I said, we know in the next episode that Rex shows up
Yeah.
because he hears about this little, droid, tactical droid caper. Anyway, so that's the end of that episode, and that's the question. Was Raffe contacting Captain Rex, or was she contacting maybe who knows, somebody in the resistance or something. Next episode is Battle Scars, and I'm gonna play this first.
We are proud to welcome our latest sponsor, Juan's Cantina, where every first week of the month on the standard galactic calendar we celebrate what the ancients call Cinco de Mayo. Come join us at Juan's for food, mariachi music, and 34 flavors of margaritas. That's Juan's Cantina right next to the Hangar 94 of Mos Eisley Spaceport. On day 2 of the week is Taco Tuesday. All tacos are half a credit each, and enjoyed with our house margaritas. Juan's Cantina also serves the galactically famous Dos Camarones Azul Cerveza, imported directly from Kessel. Thank you again for our latest sponsor, Juan's Cantina.
Yay, Wands. They've got some good margaritas there, I promise. Like I said, the next episode is episode 7, Battle Scars. And we see our team after they come back from what is called a lizard heist. So they grab some small lizard of sorts for a mystery client that Sid had them go after, and they're on their ship, the Marauder, and for some reason they drop the crate that the lizard's in, and it gets out and it's running around the ship a little bit. And Omega ends up catching the lizard again in the cage. She calls the lizard Ruby, and Wrecker was surprised that she named the lizard. Let's see. And she asks about why they stole this lizard, and Tech, of course, is the one that points out that they were only stealing it back from someone because they stole it from the rightful owner, which apparently is their client. Rokai is the one who stole it. Stay calm, and yeah, they're having an issue with the hyperdrive. It gets back online, and they finally go back. They finally go into hyperdrive after they've got the lizard secured. And they're back at the SIDS again with Ruby, and they get some credits for it, but they still, they're short on credits for quite a bit. Not that Sid necessarily shorted them. It's just Sid takes such a huge cut that they barely get any of it. And we're in the in the bar area, and we see that Hunter is noticing that there's some strange people that normally aren't in the bar. One in particular is a hooded person. And this is when Omega and Wrecker go out to do their tradition, which is they go out to a vendor and get this little weird, like, I don't know, it looks to me like popcorn chicken or something to
Yeah,
throw
that's what I
away.
said.
Yeah. And
Popcorn elevator.
something like that. Little alligator bites, maybe. Yeah, could be. I don't know. They don't even. It doesn't even say in here what it's called. Mantle mix. So, it's like Chex
Chex.
Mix, but it's a.
I said it first.
You did. Jinx to you. And the vendor tells them that they owe 14 credits for it. And that's related to also we come back and Sid is talking to him about how much money they actually owe Sid for different things like weapons and mantle mix and other things, supplies, food. She's not running a charity. She says she wants them to pay the
Oh,
money
come
back.
on, Sid.
Yeah. And Tech says some thing about, she says they need to make a big score so they can pay them off. And the tactical droid would have made a lot of money, but they messed that up, of course, which is what happened in our last episode. And then they hear some blaster fire out in the bar, and that's when they see clones Bolo and Ketchik fleeing upstairs. Oh, the clones see, which is, those are the names of the guy, the one that has the weird neck and the eyes, and then the other guy, which I think that's the same species that is those gangster guys. What's his
Yeah,
name?
the mayor. Wasn't that the same species that was the mayor?
Yeah, that was the one with the weird neck and the eyes.
Yeah.
They run off because of all the commotion, and the stranger reveals himself that has the hood, and it's clone Captain Rex. And Sid grumbles because she's not running a clone reunion in Clubhouse. Yeah.
Wow.
She doesn't want any more clones in there because it'll draw too much attention. And of course, Hunter and Echo and everyone recognizes Captain Rex. And they start talking and having a drink at the bar, and Wrecker and Omega come back and they get introduced as well. They're talking about the how Rex knew about them, and he mentions the Raffe Martinez, Trace and Raffe, with the droid head. And Rex is surprised when he's introduced to Omega that Omega is actually a clone. She doesn't look like any of the other clones.
No, it looked like any of the clones I've seen.
And she's very unique too, because all the other clones, even Boba looks just like his dad, but she is the only one that doesn't look like any of them. Her face doesn't look like any of them. Of course, our Bad Batch looks a little different, but
that's the ultimate question: who's she cloned from?
well, she's cloned. We find that out. So, I think when we're reviewing our episodes this weekend, we'll find out for sure, because they talk about it. I think in episode 9, maybe you might have to rewatch it so you can see. But they mention exactly who she's cloned from and exactly why she's so valuable. And the Bad Batches have already kind of figured out why she is, but they haven't really told her yet. And Rex tells them that they, they during talking and stuff, Rex finds out that they don't have their chips removed, because after Wrecker arrives, Wrecker's complaining about a headache, and Tech kind of basically says it's the inhibitor chip that's causing his headaches, and Rex is thrown aback because he doesn't trust them now that he knows they don't have their inhibitor chips taken out, and Hunter asks them how they can do that.
And before, while they're still at the bar, Wrecker asked, not Wrecker. Anyway, someone asked Rex how's he survived so long. The good old standby line of what the heck? Staying out of sight or keeping a low profile, like Obi-Wan. Yoda told Obi-Wan to.
Yeah, exactly.
The exact same line.
Exactly. I think actually, maybe Omega asked that question because Omega notices that he's a Gen 1 clone.
That's right.
She recognizes him from the lines in his face, which I don't know if that means he's old, he's got wrinkles. What? That's how she recognizes him, or Gen 1 clones had lines in their face that other Gen don't. I don't know. Yeah. So again, they're Rex is wondering about it, and they kind of calm him down, about the chips and everything, and Hunter asks how are they supposed to get those removed, or who can take them out.
Yeah.
And Rex says that's a pretty good question. It's not something easy to do. They can't go back to Camino because Camino's a hot spot, and Rex basically tells him he's going to find a place and he'll be in touch.
They never get out of there on Camino.
Yeah, that's true. They wouldn't be able to get out. There's too many Imperial people there, right? And the next scene is where we see the Marauder coming into a planet called Bracca, which is a where old ships come to die. Basically, they all come there, and then there's a group called the Scrapper Guild that basically manages all the dead ships, so to speak, and they strip them and sell parts out of them. Called the Scrapper Guild, like I said, and they find. They get there. They're going to have to do surgery, they said, for the inhibitor chip. Wrecker is, of course, first because he's starting to show those symptoms. Tech mentions that he was able to scan Rex, who does not have the chip anymore, and he can make a baseline so he can now scan to see if any clone has the chip. They looks like they're going through some of those wreckage, and they find Rex, and Rex mentions that they have to go to a Jedi capital ship that has a medical bay on it. And he says that he had his removed on a ship just like this, on a Jedi cruiser. just like the one they're going to see. It's a Ventator class Star Destroyer that they see, and they start to make their way over to it. And they have to hide a little bit because they see some sort of barge where the scrapper people are kind of looking around stuff. That's when Rex says that they control the planet, and Rex tells Echo that that Fives is the one who warned them about the inhibitor chips, and he wants to know how they knew about it. And Echo says that Omega told them about the chips when they met her, which is true. Omega is just amazed by the big Ventator class ship. They see a swampy area, and Tech kind of warns them to stay above the water line because you can see something moving underneath there. Some sort of creature under the water, basically. And they get up there, and there's a part of it where they have to climb across the ship on a rope because there's no direct path to it. And everybody gets across, and Wrecker's the last one, which we know he's afraid of heights. He doesn't want to go over it. He finally starts to go over it, and the cable starts to break that he's on. And it finally does break, and he's attached to it still, but he gets like at water level, doesn't hit the water, but just at the level of the water. And that's when Omega sees some sort of shape in the water and tells Wrecker to start to climb as soon as he can. But a tentacle of a Durunga erupts from the water and grabs him, and Wrecker cuts off at least one of the tentacles with his knife. However, more tentacles come out and drag him underwater. And he's under the water for a little bit, and Wrecker comes back up and surfaces, and the creature doesn't want to let him go. And Echo starts firing at the creature, which pushes it off. And I don't know, Scott, if you're back online there, but do you remember this creature? Are you there? Scott's having trouble. You there? Hello, Scott? Are you back? Yeah. So this was the creature that was that we saw in the one movie where Han Solo had it on his ship. The one that rolled around the ship and had the tentacles and ate all the. That's the same creature. He had those different, people asking him for their money or their whatever they owed him, and he ended up, those animals got released, and they ate them all up or whatever. That's the same creature. They call it a Deranga in this thing, but I thought it was called something else in that movie. And that was like Rise of, I don't know, one of the final sequel movies, right? The last three.
Yeah.
One of those might have been the one that that Han Solo actually died in. I can't remember for sure. So Wrecker finally gets out of that, and they pull him up. And the next scene, they find the medical bay, and they get the door open and such. They notice rodents and the place is kind of rusty and stuff, and Tech mentions that it's not sterile anymore. And Rex asks if they would prefer to use the facilities on Camino instead. And they admit that this is going to have to do. So they start calibrating the pod and the equipment. Tech is using the scanner over Wrecker's head so they can pinpoint where it's located at. And we see Hunter putting the backpacks and helmets away. And Omega says she's worried about the surgery. But Hunter assures her that if it worked on Rex, it's going to work on them. And Rex says that it's dangerous to leave the chips in. So they're going to do it regardless of the risk. And Omega's mostly afraid, that they're all going to, die and leave her orphaned by herself. And that's around the time when Tech detects where the actual chip is. And Wrecker is, getting pretty upset about being scanned about stuff. And they get the
downright mad.
Yeah, they get the controls all set up, and Rex kind of says that they all got lucky that they were immune from Order 66, and he talks about his bad experiences, and Hunter mentions that they had no idea what was going on when they were on Keller, and the Jedi started being attacked, and Hunter ran off with the Padawan. They had no idea what was going on. They saw the order, but they didn't know what it meant, and they didn't know why all the other clones were reacting to it. And that's when Wrecker gets even more mad and kind of goes into one of his episodes. He pushes Tech away and grabs his helmet and his rifle and starts to threaten the gang. Wrecker knocks the gun from Rex and fires a blast at Rex. Hunter and Omega run off as Wrecker is kind of shooting around trying to get the rest of the other clone squad.
He keeps saying about Order 66.
Yeah, he keeps saying, "Good soldiers, you violated Order 66 or something like that," is one of the things he says. Omega gets knocked unconscious. Tech gets knocked unconscious. Hunter and Omega get off into another room, and Hunter gets knocked out as well. And it looks like Omega Hunter throws a canister at Wrecker first, and it destroys the blaster and fills the room with smoke. So Omega has time to hide. And they go out into a corridor. Yeah, and like you said, Hunter throws his blade at him.
So I thought Omega had a blaster and didn't want to shoot Wrecker.
Yeah, I think she picked up Hunter's blaster when he fell. She gets knocked unconscious when they're in that room. And she's hiding behind like a piece of metal or something.
Yeah.
And finally Wrecker finds her or whatever. And he points his he proceeds to choke Hunter, saying that clones All clones in violation of Order 66 should be terminated. And Omega actually shoots Wrecker with a blaster, causing Wrecker to drop Hunter. Wrecker confronts Omega, and she goes down the corridor. She slides under a door before Wrecker can enter the room. Wrecker, obviously strong enough to lift the door up. And this is where she gets cornered by Wrecker. And Wrecker tells her that she's a traitor and she needs to be terminated. And then, like you said, this is when she begs him and such, and she doesn't want to shoot him again. He grabs a rifle that apparently was Crosshair's rifle. And as he's starting to raise that, Rex stuns him from behind with a blaster stun. And that's when we, things are better, and Omega is kind of pretty stressed out about it and everything. She was
pretty shook up.
Pretty shook up. And the next scene, they're in the surgical pod, and they've got Wrecker on the the bed, as and it slides him back into the the machine or whatever, and the machine starts working on him right away.
It's like an MRI machine.
Yeah, it looks like an MRI machine almost. And obviously it's doing the the surgery in there automatically. And they're all worried about it, because it's taking a long time.
Yeah, and his vitals are,
Yeah, vitals aren't doing very well necessarily. They're worried about it. He finally comes out and gets done, but he's still not awake.
Yeah.
And Omega tries to wake him up. And that's, like you said, when Tech tells him that his vitals aren't stabilized yet. And Rex says from experience he knows it could take a while for Wrecker to regain consciousness. And that's when we see Omega say that she wants to stay with Wrecker until he wakes up.
Yeah.
Apparently, none of the other clones want to get the surgery until Wrecker wakes up. And they see him wake up. And he's not all Order 66 anymore. He apologizes to Omega and says he's sorry and such.
They had their trail mix.
They had some trail mix. She gave him some trail mix to Ordal mantle mix or whatever. And Omega tells the rest of the crew that he's back. And Rex says one chip down and 3 more to go. Who's next? And then we see them flash to Tech going into the operating tunnel, getting his done. And he comes out with a bandage on his head where he's gotten his removed. Yeah, he apologizes. They have mantle mix. And then we see, basically the rest of the crew start to go in there. Galactic Republic. And once they all get done, they start to go out and, leave or whatever. Show Rex off. Rex says he's got to go. His fight's not yet over. That he's got to go, so he's got to go back. and Hunter points out that the Republic is gone. What is he doing? Yeah, and Rex basically says that he's got other things he's got going on.
I'm a door-to-door salesman.
Yeah. Rex asks the crew, asks Hunter what they're doing too, and Hunter says they're still trying to figure that out. And he tells everybody goodbye and tells them to stay out of trouble.
No, I'm too.
And that they basically say that that's what they do is get in trouble. And we see Rex disappear in the night fog. And then we notice that another scrapper barge is watching the clones again, and through some binoculars, and one of the scrappers tells the other that there's intruders, and orders that the Empire is going to be notified. And that's when we see the credits. That's the end of that episode.
The Empire. Ooh.
And my question for that episode for the week is, who is the Scrapper Guild reporting to in the Empire? Who's coming to see them and whatever. And apparently it's high up in the Empire. We find out in the next episode that
General Fred or whatever his name is.
Yeah, somebody up there, and it's probably old Wilhelm, whatever his name is, the Moff Wilhelm guy. The one that made him do the test and stuff like that with the simulation droids.
No, I think he's out of it.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
A younger guy.
It's that younger guy, isn't he? Yeah. So yeah, we find out in the next episode, which we're gonna again review later this weekend, hopefully. That he gets contacted and he sends out Crosshair with a bunch of other troopers to find him. So I mean, I didn't answer the question or anything, but go to our website and there's the questions there. You can say what you want it to be. Yeah. We still have the previous questions out there from the previous episode. Where which one is will Sid keep the Bad Batch and Omega's secret? And the other one is did we see Moochie in the Return of the Jedi? So those are still live questions also. So go out and do those. We really look forward to getting some feedback from somebody. So please send that in. We've got these polls. We've got a feedback section. We're on YouTube, and YouTube accepts comments for our stuff. So please go out. If you're watching it on YouTube, please comment on the episode that you're watching and let us know what you think. Any thoughts or anything about the last two episodes?
I think Omega's going to learn some other stuff.
Yeah, she's definitely going to learn.
People are going to learn other stuff about her.
Exactly. And I next couple episodes we're going to hear a lot about that. They end up on an old outpost of the Commonians, I think in the next episode. And we run into another bounty hunter too. So we'll find out a lot of lot more information about Omega. The next couple
I thought
episodes.
that was a bounty hunter at first, but it was Crosshair.
Yeah. The first one's
It's Crosshair with the helmet with the
the
thing he
first
puts
one,
in.
the first episode. So we just did episode 7 was the last one we just did. So episode 8 is they're still on the ship area, and they're trying to scavenge some supplies so they can sell some things to make some money. And that's when we see Crosshair, like you said. And the episode after that is where we meet another bounty hunter. It's after Omega, and we also see Fennec again.
Oh yeah, okay.
So
Okay.
there's Fennec
got it.
and the other
I
bounty
remember.
hunter, which a lot of people will recognize from
Bang,
the Book of Boba Fett.
bang.
Yeah. So, all right, what do you think? Does that wrap it up?
That's a wrap, buddy.
Yeah, we did pretty good. That's total recording time so far is about an hour. So I think we probably spent the extra time it's an hour and 20 minutes. So we probably spent 20 minutes getting ready at the beginning. So let me run the outro. Thank you for listening to the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast. Please visit our website where you can play current and past episodes. That's https://RABR KyleJohansson.us. That's RABR.KyleJohansson.us. Left-hand side is a navigation menu. You can use this to learn how to load the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast on your Android or Apple phone and tablet. And we have direct links to our podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts. Please participate by connecting to our social media, answering questions of the week, or submitting feedback directly from the site. Again, all of these are available at the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room website at RABR.KAILEJO.
Polish that dome with you.
SEN.US. This podcast in no way is approved, sponsored, or owned by Lucasfilms Ltd., Disney, Disney Plus, or any of its subsidiaries. All opinions are solely owned by Kyle and or Scott, and in no way express the views or opinions of their past or present employers. Views and opinions are not supported or restricted by Lucasfilms Ltd., Disney, Disney Plus, or any of its subsidiaries. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or any or other use of this podcast and its affiliate sites without consent of Super Duper Podcast Network and its host is prohibited. I am Kyle Johansson, and this is Andrew Scott Sutton. Say goodbye now. Goodbye.
Bye now.
Goodbye. That wraps it up. I'm going to stop recording.